Welcome everybody to another episode of the Will and Rock Podcast. Another freaking UFC card on the books. Phenomenal UFC 218. I'm actually really impressed with the card. 217 did not disappoint. Goes down one of the best fight in UFC history. And now we have UFC 218. And there was a mixture of both decisions and knockouts. But even the decisions were such great chess matches. Once again, if you're a true fan of the UFC, or if you're a true fan of MMA, you would have loved this card.
Oh, without a doubt. Let's get right to it. UFC 218. Tessia Torres versus Michelle Weatherson. It was such an amazing fight. Tessia, I picked her to win by decision. Knockout in the first round. Just because I know she comes out very aggressive, and Michelle Weatherson always leaves some openings in the first or second round. But I think Weatherson got very comfortable with the fight and took her to the later rounds, which ended up in a decision. But Tessia ended up winning anyways.
I had Weatherson winning the fight. I thought Weatherson did a good job. But did not maintain that game plan throughout. And her game plan is distance, long shots, and if she does come close, she goes directly for the submission. It was totally not her day today. I think it was a closer fight than what most people have done it. Even though I still gave it to Torres. But great way to start off the card, the main UFC card.
I agree. Right after that, we had Eddie Alvarez with Justin Gaethje. It lived up to the expectation. We expect those two to stand in the middle and just brawl. They kind of did that, but it was a little more technical. Nobody really tried to take the other down, which was amazing.
I think Eddie, obviously Eddie won the fight, but Eddie was the guy that was the technical fighter. He reached to the face when he needed to, but he totally connected with body shots. That totally changed his game plan. And even after the fight, after he won the fight and Rogan was interviewing him at the end of the fight, he did mention that he was training with people who were very aggressive, coming straight at you. And in order for him to keep that distance was for him to go to the body. And I love to hear that, because it seemed like he came in with that game plan and he executed it 100%. Even though that came with a lot of bumps and bruises.
Right. With that being, I was going to exactly bring that up. Is that a great game plan? It's a tremendous game plan because he obviously won, and he won by decision. With that being said, there was a lot of punishment that was taken during those rounds. He's coming out of a loss to McGregor, first round knockout. He's losing. He lost to Dos Anjos, right? So he's coming into this fight. I would like to think his game plan should have been go ahead, try to take him down as quick as possible and ground and pound him. But he did a more strategical fight by standing in front of Gaethje. And let's be honest, Eddie Alvarez has a lot of fights in the octagon. He doesn't have much of them coming to him. At least I don't think. He should have taken the high road and go for the takedown.
That's not, at the end of the day, that's not his fight. So he went out to fight his fight. He stood in front of somebody who you should not stand in front of, and he outclassed him. But it's not like that came easy. That came with a lot of bumps and bruises. He left with a really messed up leg, which I felt like Gaethje totally should have done more to expose that leg. I think he didn't do quite enough after he saw him hurt. But Alvarez is a veteran, man. He stuck it out, and his heart speaks volumes in this fight, and he ended up winning a great fight. It's a great win for him. He needed this. He needed this for his career. Because to be quite honest with you, had he taken the L on this card, there is nothing else after this. This is, unfortunately, there's nothing else. So the way McGregor treated you,
3 losses in a row, he would have been right out the division. The next one we had Sergio Pettis versus Henry Cejudo. I picked Henry Cejudo to win by decision. Exactly how that fight ended up playing out, that's exactly how I really expected it to. I expected Henry to show his veteran side in that octagon. He still has the power, he still has the speed, but most importantly, he has that knowledge in the octagon. He completely showed it against Sergio Pettis. It just tells Sergio Pettis, you're not technically right on that league to go into the championship championship fights, but you're in the mix. keep on sticking it out. I think Sergio Pettis has a lot of potential. He's very young at 24 years old. We have a lot to see from Sergio Pettis, but Cejudo should go directly into really push and fight either, go into and ask for Mighty Mouse at this point, because he did lose to Mighty Mouse, but he'd go right after him again.
He's not going to get that fight. That's not the fight to make for the UFC. It's totally not the fight to make. But it is a great thing that he won the fight, because now he can say, okay, well, after which it seems most likely to do, and which is a smart thing for UFC to do at this point, especially the way Mighty Mouse has dominated that weight class. I don't think that Henry should get a title shot right away. I think he should get a fight right after Mighty Mouse and TJ fight, depending on what weight class they fight.
Right.
I think it's a great time for him to take a good amount of rest, not look for another fight, demand a title fight, give enough time for that fight to make sense and actually happen, in order for him to go back into the octagon and fight. That's my personal opinion. But what's the next one?
The next one was Alistair Overeem versus Francis Gano. Two heavyweights in the middle of the ring. You know, you're swinging leather at each other. I finally
won that one because you had beat me in every other card. I have Francis winning first round TKO, and shit did he not disappoint, man.
Yeah. Although he came in the second round, I think
first round.
Was it really first round?
First round TKO.
Okay, so we have Francis winning by knockout. I mean, he threw an uppercut that almost landed Alistair Overeem's head somewhere in the second aisle. It was a tremendous uppercut. Anybody else would have gotten knocked out by that. This is just to show you, in my opinion, it is more of bringing a younger fighter who has tremendous stand-up versus an old-school veteran who has tremendous stand-up, if not the most decorated stand-up fighter in the heavyweight division, winning the K1 Grand Prix, right? Coming in to fight against the guy, Francis Gano, who's a young buck, who's coming for the belt, who's coming gunning, and that's exactly what you saw from Francis Gano. It's amazing how that fight kind of showed me where the sport of MMA is right now. It's important to have wrestling, it's important to have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but most importantly, it's important to have power, especially in the heavyweight division. He knocked out another heavyweight. Could we see this again? I could see him knocking out the whole division. Like, literally could knock out the whole division. By far the most powerful right or left hand in the business right now.
The best thing about this victory for and the way Francis won this fight is that he deserves a title shot.
Correct.
And I will say, Verdum was in the mix after he won his last fight to fight for the belt. Rogan went in there and freaking made a statement for this guy. He said, Francis deserves his title shot. You're the #1 contender. You deserve his title shot.
Yeah.
You know?
He said it twice, very clear, make sure that everybody heard it.
He really iterated and then
Right.
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 Holy shit.
So I really do believe that not only does he deserve it, but after Joe Rogan kind of justified the fact that he needs to fight that, they're gonna put him against
Stipe. That's such a good fight, man. Stipe is on another level when it comes to being a technical fighter, a smart fighter. Francis there knocked your head off.
Yep.
Perfect matchup. Both stand-up fighters, man.
Damn,
that's scary, bro. That's so fucking scary. But at the end of the day, nothing makes me more happy than a heavyweight. Somebody in the heavyweight making a noise, man. That weight class needs a wake-up call. They need to be shooken up. People need to start stepping up and knowing how to take fights like that, man.
But even better than that is that Stipe right now is, is he gonna wait for Francis? Yeah, Verdum to come back from wherever he's coming back from to fight him, or should we have Francis Gano fight him, or is the Mexican heavyweight Cain Velasquez coming out of nowhere, after his injury and fighting him? So he has three good opponents. Who should fight out of all them three? My opinion would be Cain Velasquez if he's ready, but if he's not ready, give it to Francis Gano.
No. So I'm totally against that. I think Kane has been out the game for too long. His injuries have caught up to him. He needs a warm-up fight before he fights for a championship fight, because the extension of him taking off, his layoff, is too long, man. And unfortunately, he needs to get put back. The reality is, if you look at it from a business perspective, people are not going to watch that fight so much. Kane's been out the game for too long. You know, Joyce St. Pierre just came back. That fight didn't do what they expected to do. And this is a guy who's out the game for 4 years. We know him as a legend, you know. Our generation knows this guy. Past generations don't. So what I'm curious to see is, I don't think Kane deserves to be caught in the mix of that. I think, once again, Kane deserves another fight. What would be great is, if they do give Francis the title fight, is to have Verdun versus Kane. To keep Verdun busy, and to keep Kane coming into another fight to keep him busy as well.
Right, so they won't go directly into the fight.
Right, they'll go directly into first contention to fight whoever ends up winning the fight between Francis and Stipe. So that's my personal opinion. I don't think it's a good idea to put Kane back in the mix. I don't.
I respect that. Anyways, the last fight, we had Jose Aldo versus Max Holloway.
Another fight that didn't disappoint, dude. Holy crap, what a great fight.
It came down. It shows you, again, very similar to the Alistair Overeem and Francis Gano, is what is the new Bucks bringing into the table. You know what it's bringing in? It's bringing Francis Gano. It's bringing a guy like Max Holloway, who know how to work the stand-up game very well. A perfect distance, so you could try to take me, you could try to, you know, shoot a double on me, but I'm going to make sure I stuff that, because I have enough distance from you. But even the most important than that is using what I like to call the Nick Diaz or the Nate Diaz tactic, where it's just move forward, continue throwing your left and right, continue throwing your left and right. Don't let him breathe. Don't let him breathe. He can't concentrate. He can't think of what he's going to throw next, because the minute he's thinking about what he's going to throw next, Max Holloway is directing a punch directly into your face, whether it's a jab or a right hand. Move forward, move forward. That's exactly what he did, and tremendous performance by Max Holloway. Takes a victory over one of the greatest UFC fighters who ever graced the octagon, and beat him already twice. Whether he was good in his last fight, who would ever know? In his last fight versus that Jose Aldo said he was at his max, he beat him. No more excuses. Max Holloway is by far the champion of that division.
Who's next for him, bro?
Who's next for him?
You mentioned Ferguson.
I did mention Ferguson only if Conor McGregor doesn't come with an agreement to fight Ferguson. You need to put Max Holloway versus Tony Ferguson, I would say, in February or even March, because Max Holloway had a easy win over Jose Aldo, with all due respect, and he's ready to go, man. Yeah. Put that fight, and put Francis Gano, who barely got touched in that fight, put him against Stipe.
Yeah.
Put both titles on the line.
Stipe's coming off of surgery, so I don't know his recovery time and when he's going to come back, but I'm totally agreed. Put them on the same card.
Yeah.
Keep it writing. Yeah, man.
And do it in New York so we can go check it out.
December 30th, DC is fighting versus December 30th, UFC 219 in Vegas. DC is fighting Volkan?
Yeah, Volkan.
I keep forgetting his name. That's going to be a good fight, so I'm looking forward to that. Definitely.
Holly Holm 219 versus Chris Cyborg. There's a lot of good fights coming up. Can't wait to talk about it. Don't forget to check us out on the Will and Rock Podcast on YouTube, the Will and Rock Podcast on Instagram, and the Will and Rock on Twitter. You can check us out there as well. Peace. Nice talking to you guys.
Peace, guys. Thank you.
Peace.